Welcome back to the Donovan and Jorgensen Heating and Cooling Friday Night Rivals pregame show. We are getting you ready for kickoff as the Racoons from Oconomowoc High School travel to take on the Pirates from Pewaukee. Let's break down the Oconomowoc team. Boy, they've been a surprise to me. They're 7-1 overall and 5-1 in the Classic A Conference, with their only loss coming to McGuanago on October 4th. We are now joined by the head football coach at Oconomowoc High School. He is Sal Logue. Hey, Coach, how you been?
Doing well, thank you.
Coach, I got to start our interview with an apology. I think a lot of people in the media have probably said this to you. I didn't see this one coming, Coach. I didn't see it coming. 7-1 overall, 5-1 in conference, in the best high school football conference in the state of Wisconsin. And I, for one, have to apologize to you because I didn't see this year coming.
Yeah, I think it came as a surprise to, I think people that aren't as close to the program. We've had a couple of years where, I'd almost say 2 or 3 years where, we've been knocking on the door and we've lost several close games to really good teams. And we haven't been able to get on the right side of it. And this year, I think we've been able to break through and in most of our games.
Hey, Coach, why do you think that is? I know you have a number of seniors on this team, and I love teams that are senior-led, that have turned a corner and have had a ton of success and are showing some of the younger kids what it takes to win, especially in your conference. Do you think that this team, because of the senior leadership, has turned the corner to have had the kind of year that you guys are having?
Yeah, I think without a doubt, obviously the players are always the biggest piece of the pie. And we have really good senior leaders. And in fairness, I think that was taught to them by some of the guys who have graduated, and didn't get to reap the rewards as much as they are. But it's definitely the biggest piece of the pie is their hard work through the last 4 years and just sticking with it. And I think it does go back a ways.
Coach, the game that we're gonna air here in a couple of minutes are the tale of two teams at this point, right? Oconomowoc's in. You guys are in the playoffs. You're looking to get better. You're looking to get a better seed. And then you've got a team like Pewaukee. This is a playoff game for them, right? If they win, they get in. If they don't win, they got to cross their fingers and hope to get in. And it's interesting to see where these two programs right now are. And I know Oconomowoc, and I know you and some of the kids out there, that you guys are not taking a week off. If you can get to 8-1, 6-1, that's the goal. And I think Pewaukee's going to have their hands full on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. First of all, we have the utmost respect for Pewaukee. And they've come into our conference and they've competed extremely well. And you can see that by watching any of their games. And sometimes even a couple of those final scores are not indicative of how well they've played. And they present a lot of problems, both offensively and defensively. And I can understand the position they're in because quite honestly, we've been in it the last couple of years. So it makes teams quite dangerous when you're in that position.
Yeah, I agree with that. Hey, we talked about senior leaders on this team, and I have a couple that I want to just talk to you a little bit about. When you have a kid on the offensive side like the tight end you have, which is Emmett Bork, and he's going Big Ten football, man, he's a kid that every team has to game plan to slow down and try to stop. And not many of them have, but he's a kid that, he's done really well for Oconomowoc, and he's been a great ambassador for you and your program when he moves into the Big Ten.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, Emmett's another example of somebody who really transformed his body. I mean, he always had the height, obviously you can't control that, but he's transformed his body and made himself into the player that he is. And he's definitely a handful, both in line and when he's, disconnected.
100%. Let's stay on the offensive side of the ball. Alex Seraphim, the running back, he's put up some pretty big numbers. You guys count on him in a lot of different situations on the field, Coach. Let's talk a little bit about what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I think Alex just runs extremely, extremely violent. Hard and violent is the way I would probably term it. And he's kind of something, we can rely on. Yeah, as we all know, when you run the ball, less bad things can happen than when you're throwing. So that's something we do rely on. and he's come through for us, quite honestly, all 8 of our games. It's something we can really hang our hat on.
Hey, on the defensive side, and this is on a personal note, because I know this young man's grandparents, and I've known them for a really long time, and they are so excited the type of football player that Tony Milas has become. I know he's a defensive end, and he causes a lot of problems. He's another kid that got serious about the weight room and kind of transformed his body into being a classic 8 defensive end that really causes a lot of problems for people.
Yeah, I think, every year, you coach long enough and you come across these guys that just something clicks, their senior year. And Tony is the type of player, he didn't get a ton of snaps last year. That transformation had started. And probably looking back on it, hindsight being 2020, he probably should have got a few more snaps. But yeah, he has taken just a huge step this year, and he is just totally self-made. All that time and effort that he's put into it, and he has seen those results. I mean, as a coach, they're the kids you love to see become successful. And he is a handful on each and every, defensive staff for us.
Yeah, and his grandfather is a really good high school and college football player. He played up at La Crosse. He played at Messmer High School with me, and he was really good. And he is so happy and proud of the football player that Tony's become, and they talk a lot. And, Paul, his grandfather, will tell him some things. Hey, listen, last night, I think maybe, try this or try that, but keep going, and that motor has to keep going. And they are so excited about this program and what you've done with it, what your staff has done with it. And they have nothing but good things to say about you, Coach, which is always great for me.
Appreciate it.
Hey, when you talk about Oconomowoc, there's a lot of really good sports programs in Oconomowoc. The football program, I think in that community, it wants to be a football community. And your youth programs are really good. A lot of kids going out and playing. When you have a year like this and the kind of fan support that you get from the community, what does that do for the program?
Yeah, I think it's huge, and it just generates a lot of attention and puts a really positive spotlight, on everything that obviously we're trying to get accomplished. And, in Oconomowoc, I think the community supports, I think all athletics, and other aspects too, to the fullest. And I think, when the product is even better, I think that even gets magnified.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Sal. I do. And what's interesting to me is talking to my friends. And I said, "What time are you going to get to the game tonight?" And they said, "We got to get there early because our community shows up, and there are away games that I think we have more fans from Oconomowoc than the home school." And she said, "It's just such a fun team to follow and to be around, and they continue to play for each other and trust each other, and you can see it on the field, and I think that's awesome." Hey, Sal, it's really good to see you. I look forward to hanging out with you on the sidelines tonight. Going to be a great game.
Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
You got it. Thanks a lot, Coach. We're going to get to a break. Other side, we'll be joined by this week's Current Electric behind-the-scenes superhero of the week. This is the Donovan and Jorgensen Heating and Cooling Friday Night Rivals pregame show only on My 24.